Hi everyone. So we are well into spring now, and this is my favorite time of year because this is when all of the local plant shops and garden centers start to really heavily restock on houseplants for the year. It's warmer weather, more people are out wanting to buy plants, and so it's a great time to go see what new is hitting local stores for the year. Now today we are going to be touring Calloways, which is a local nursery chain here. I love Calloways because it's kind of a great in-between like a big box store and a more boutique-y plant shop. And so last year, I was actually shocked at some of the new plants that I saw in Calloways that I hadn't seen before. And I'm thinking this year we might see even more surprising new plants that I haven't really seen in stores before. But let's go ahead and head on in and see what they've got. All right, you guys, just glancing around, I will say I did notice in another section some plants I have not seen in store before, so excited about that. But we're going to start over here with the larger plants. This is a very large, very beautiful Schefflera, aka umbrella tree. This is $200. We do have some maidenhair ferns hanging out around down here. We do have a type of Dracaena over here for $25. We've got some cordylines over here. This looks like it's got a little bit of a purplish cast to it, but the rest of the plant looks mostly green. These are $40. We've got some $40 spathiphyllums. Here is a Sansevieria, which actually has been reclassified as Dracaena, just a reminder, for $40. Here's some spathiphyllums that are actually in bloom. Some more Dracaenas back here. This is a very large philodendron summer glory. I mean, look at the size of these leaves, you guys. This thing is massive, and they only want $50 for it. Look at this leaf over here. This is so huge. This is the biggest one of these I have ever seen. If you do not know, philodendron summer glory is a cross between a philodendron gloriosum, and I just forgot what the other plant is. I will flash it up on screen for you. So this does get kind of a crawling growth pattern. Then down here we have some Calathea rosapicta medallion, some relatively large ones. We've got some beautiful Dieffenbachia going on over here. We've got a bunch more varieties of Dracaena over here. These are $50 for these larger ones. We've got some more cordylines over here. These are the more colorful varieties. I absolutely love the way these look. I do have an all pink variety of this in my backyard. I can't see, let's see, I couldn't see the price tag on that one. Oh my gosh, you guys, I feel like I need to go get my eyes checked. Like, things are getting harder to read lately. I think that says $50. Hold on. They told me after I turned 40, $70. They told me after I turned 40, my LASIK that I had done when I was in my 20s would not be as good, and I would probably need reading glasses, and I think we were finally at that point, unfortunately. Look at this gorgeous ponytail palm. Oh my gosh. I've never seen one with leaves this long. Normally when I see them in stores around here, you can see the base of the plant, but these are really long leaves. It's $130. That is a lot for a ponytail palm, but it is a stunning looking plant. And then over here we have some very tall sculptural looking fiddle leaf figs. They have been purposefully, it looks like, trimmed on the lower parts just to have the foliage up on top. It looks like these are $60. And then we've got some more taller, more sculptural plants over here. This is a Ficus benjamina for $130. We've got some nice tall palms, some more Dracaena. And then of course we've got some bird of paradise here for $70. And then over here we've got some Monstera deliciosa, just your standard Monstera deliciosas for $40, some decent sized ones. We've got some Esqueletos, Monstera esqueleto, which I discovered recently. This is actually called something different. What is it called? Let's see. Epiprimnoides esqueleto. I did not realize that before. I will look up like the true scientific name and put it on screen for you. I just have always seen them labeled as Monstera esqueleto until recently. This is $100, so these really, that's kind of high, because when these first came out in this area, $100 one would be like the size of this Monstera deliciosa over here. So I'm kind of shocked about that. I will tell you guys, word of warning, this plant needs a pull, and it really needs probably a moss pull, or else you're going to get runners. And nothing's more annoying than runners on a large leafed plant. It's not, like, it's more annoying than runners on a Syndopsis, because these are going to be such thick vines, and you're just going to get long, bald vines if you do not put this on a pole. You have been warned. Next to this, we have some Monstera adansonii for, let's see, $34. These are on a trellis. I tell you guys, every time I see adansonii in stores around here, they're always yellowing. There's always yellow leaves. These actually don't look as ratty as they normally do around here, but I don't know what it is. They just never look great around here, just being honest. And then over here we've got some more peace lilies, just not looking quite as nice as the ones we saw in the other section. We do have some Ficus Audreys over here. Looks like these are $50. Are prices going back up, you guys? I feel like these prices are kind of high compared to what we've been seeing, but I don't know. They're also in bigger pots than I'm used to seeing them in, but still, that just seems high to me. Anybody else? Comment below and let me know. Here is a stunning alocasia. Is this a... I don't know if it's gonna... it is an alocasia golden dragon. Look at the beautiful stems, you guys, with that speckling. This is $40, which... not too bad, I guess, for an alocasia that is that size. That's really big. We've got some large ZZs. This is something I have been noticing more in a lot of stores around here lately, are giant ZZs. These are not even as big as ones I saw the other day at Rubiel's, were like twice this size. And they're slow growing plants, so it took a while to get this to this size. This one, is this just the plain green variety? Looks like it's just the plain green variety, but it's kind of light. Maybe it's been a little bit underwatered, or maybe overwatered, because you know it's easier to overwater one of these ZZ plants than to underwater it. But this is $130. The Raven variety over here, which this technically isn't going to be called a Raven. It just says ZZ plant on it. I know it can't be called a Raven because Raven is a trademark name from Costa Farms. There's two other possibilities for what this could be called, and I will flash them up on screen for you. These names are kind of used interchangeably just because the dark ZZs, if it's not a Costa Farms plant, you can't call it a Raven ZZ, but they're all basically the same plant. This one's actually cheaper than the green one. This one's only $90. I guess because the green one's in a slightly bigger pot, but that doesn't make sense to me because usually the raven colored ZZ plants are more expensive than the green ones. So that's kind of unusual to me, but they look great. Look how big and thick that is, you guys. So this is why I say it's so much easier to overwater one of these than to underwater them. And reminder, you should not be watering these more than once every 30 days. And part of the reason you don't need to do that is because that thick part of that stem right there, that's just holding water reserves for the plant. So that will last the plant for a really, really long time, even if the soil dries all the way out. There are also giant tubers holding water as well under the soil. So these plants can go insanely long periods of time without water, and you actually will do more harm by not letting them go insanely long periods of time without water than doing the opposite. Because basically what happens, you guys, is if you keep giving a plant that stores a lot of water in structures like this, water when it doesn't need it, it will still try to put more water in these structures, and you'll end up rupturing the structures, and then they can rot, the plant starts to die, and it starts to go downhill quick. So seriously, neglect your ZZ plants, please. Over here we've got some very full and lush Pothos Cebu Blue, so Epiprimnum pinnatum Cebu Blue. These plants, you guys, they look so beautiful when you buy them at the store in these lush hanging baskets like this, but then inevitably they will also give you what I was talking about with the esqueleto, which are runners, which this one is starting to do. So it's putting out all these vines, and it's not putting leaves everywhere on these vines. Now imagine that with a vine as thick as my finger or thicker, like on the esqueleto. It's so annoying. I am over plants that put out runners, unless you put them on a pole. You put it on a pole, it's going to be okay, but I don't know. I'm not buying any plants that give me runners anymore. And then over here in some hanging baskets, we have some beautiful philodendron Brazils. These look like they're only $10. Okay, that's pricing that I'm used to seeing. I definitely paid more than that for mine back in 2021. I got it from Calloways, where we are right now. You guys have seen how big and beautiful and lush mine looks. It was smaller than this when I bought it. It was just in a little 4-inch pot, but it has done so fabulous for me. Even living in a north-facing window, which is pretty much where it's lived the majority of its life, it has done great. I see we have some burgundy Ficus elasticas back here, some larger ones. These are really dark. That is beautiful looking. Let's see if I can find a price tag. These are $50. Those are some of the darkest looking ones I have seen before. Just absolutely stunning. Look how shiny that new leaf is. And then coming back over here, we have some golden pothos. These are actually $20, which shocks me that the philodendron Brazils are only $10, but the golden pothos are $20. They're not even in a hanging basket like the philodendron Brazils, so I don't understand why they're twice as much. That's very odd to me. These are plants that in the past would have typically been priced similarly. So yeah, that's just weird. Not sure what that's all about. Here is a philodendron micans, which I have just started seeing these more frequently over the last year in stores in my area. At the time that I got mine, like, you could not find these in stores anywhere. I had to get mine from Steve's Leaves. Luckily, Steve's Leaves is local, although it's like a 40-minute trip for me to get out there. So I just picked mine up from their store, though, instead of having it shipped. This is $17. I definitely paid more than $17 for mine, and mine was in a little 3-inch pot. This is a 6-inch pot. So nice to see that the prices have come down on that. I have not seen these in a while because I feel like they were dying for everybody, so people stopped carrying them. But this is the Syndapsis trubii moonlights, which also, do we still call them moonlights? Nope, because moonlight is a trademark name for Costa Farms. So this just says silver Syndapsis trubii. These things were just, oh my gosh, so many people who bought them, they just died, primarily because Costa Farms was the only one selling them. Let's see. I can't see roots coming out the bottom. Just checking, because Costa Farms, when they first came out with them, were barely rooted cuttings and way too large a pot, and they all just started dying on people. I think maybe one of you told me yours is still alive. If anybody else still has one that's alive from like the 2021 era of these from Costa Farms, let me know. Hopefully maybe this grower that's doing them has done right by us and not done that. Hard to say because I can't see roots, but maybe these have a better chance of surviving. I do see a very white pearls and jade. Yep, this is an Epipremnum pearls and jade, $20. This is a Costa Farms one, which is weird. I didn't think they carried Costa Farms at Calloways, but I guess I'm wrong. But look how white. That is stunning. And then over here we have some Ficus Calloways, which I have not seen these in stores before. This is a more green variety, not as dark as the burgundy that we were looking at before. Just a nice, if you like green plants, a great Ficus elastica for you. These are only $17. We have the Ficus elastica teneques here. And then I think we have a ruby, Ficus elastica ruby back there. Looks like these are also $17. Here is the type of cordyline that I was mentioning I have out back. This is the pink variety. Mine is much, much bigger than this. Oh, they're actually calling this one Purple Hawaiian. It is $17. Just, oh, they're such gorgeous plants, you guys. It won't survive winter here outside. Mine's in a pot, so I just move it into my garage for the winter. And I just moved it back out, but it's just a nice pop of color, stunning plant. Very tropical, grows relatively fast though. Even if you get a small one like this, like, they grow really fast as long as you have them in good lighting. They can tolerate full sun in my experience. I mean, they grow in the wild all over the place in Hawaii, so they should be able to tolerate full sun. We've got beautiful bromeliads over here. Absolutely love bromeliads. Now, if you have tried a bromeliad before and it has died for you, I am not shocked. It is one of those plants that a lot of people say, oh, you just kind of like fresh cut flowers. You have it for a while and then you don't because it dies. These are $15, but I will tell you right now, if you see, these are all in soil. Bromeliads do not want to be in soil. When I was out at Doc Block's place back in September, I specifically asked him, because he started with bromeliads, not anthuriums, you guys. So I specifically asked him about his bromeliads and what he grows them in. They're in rocks. They're literally in, like, you know, the lava rocks that are kind of like this big that you see in flower beds a lot. That is literally what his bromeliads are growing in, because they are air plants. They do not need to be in soil. The cup in the center is what collects the rainwater, and that is how they get their water. So you definitely do not want to leave these in soil when you buy them, even though they're in soil, probably because these were needing to grow roots, so they needed a little bit more moisture to develop roots. But I'm telling you right now, if you leave them in that soil, they're going to die. So definitely transfer them to something else. When I was in St. John back in November, I had filmed some for you guys that were just wired around a tree trunk, a dead tree trunk. I mean, there's no soil, there was no moss, there was no nothing. They were just hanging out there, and they survived because the cups absorb the water that they need. So that is my tip to you to keep a bromeliad alive. And over here we have a different variety of bromeliad. By the way, you guys, bromeliad is the, if I say this wrong, I'll correct myself up on screen for you. I believe bromeliad is the family of plants, kind of like how there's the prayer plant family of plants, and under the prayer plant family you have your calathea, stromanthe, maranta, tenanthe. All these things that I'm calling bromeliad, that is the family name. They all have different genus names, which is based on the growth patterns. So, you know, we see the taller flowers here. These actually, their flowers bloom inside of the cup. So you can see the water in the cup here. This is what I'm talking about. That's collects the rainwater, and that's how it waters itself. And then little flowers, purple ones for this particular type of bromeliad, will bloom down in that cup. This is actually one of my favorite types. So this is a Norgerelia. Okay, guys, it's a name that I have a hard time pronouncing. It will be up on screen for you. But this is one of my all-time favorite bromeliads. It's so beautiful. And then over here we have a lone kalanchoe, also commonly known as a flaming Katie, because of the beautiful red flowers it gets, kind of make it look like the plant is flaming, if you will. This is $17. I need to check in with my sister and see if hers is still alive. A coworker had given her one, and I had given her tips on how to take care of it. It actually survived her not being in the office for months and months during maternity leave, and she swore nobody watered it and that thing was still alive. So hopefully it's still kicking now that she's back in the office, but I'll have to check in and see. Look at this stunning air plant. Look at the bloom on this stunning air plant. So this is a tillandsia of sorts. It is $130, but I am not surprised. That is giant. I will tell you right now, air plants, it's a type of air plant, does not, so this is very similar to the bromeliads. It does not need soil. This one does not look like it's in soil. It looks like it has just some bark in there and some, I forget what you call this, straw type stuff, forget what it's called, which is fine. Like, that's fine. That's simulating like the bark of a tree. This takes forever to get to this size. So that is probably has something to do with the price. Somebody had to take care of this for a long, long time to get it to this point. But it is beautiful, and I love this little basket thing that they have it in. It's stunning. I still don't understand, you guys, why we are putting Anthurium clarinerviums in these baskets like this. This is so weird to me. This is $90. They're not looking their best. Like, a lot of them are looking kind of meh. They looked better last year when I saw them here, but I love clarinerviums, and I don't know. Unfortunately, the one I got from Airwaid Asia, you guys, that got rot, it's completely died. I finally just tossed it the other day. That thing would not recover from rotting. It just got mushier and mushier up in the stem until I just couldn't do anything about it. Like, I've never had one just rot that fast. Normally when I cut it off and I try to reroot it, it does fine, but I don't know, maybe because it was just such a big one and it wasn't a baby, I have no idea, but they're absolutely beautiful. I might try one again eventually, but not at that price point. This is another thing I was not expecting to see in general, but definitely not in a hanging pot. So this is a Peperomia argyrius. No, it's a Peperomia argyria. I always mix that up with the Scindapsus argyrius. So Scindapsus is argyrius, Peperomia is argyria. So also known as the watermelon peperomia. I absolutely love the way these look, but you guys, I had one. I had several because I propagated it. They do not like my home. These leaves look great now, but when I bring them home, the new leaves come in cracked and deformed and everything else. Mine was definitely not this big. So I don't know, maybe bigger is better. Has anybody tried different sizes of watermelon peperomia, and did you find that the larger ones were easier to take care of than the smaller ones? Maybe? Comment down below and let us know for sure if you did. I just think it's very odd to put it in a hanging pot because it's not a trailing plant, but these are $30, which is not bad considering the size of these and also how difficult they are to grow, at least in my opinion. We do have some more fern varieties going on up here. And down here I do see one lonely lipstick plant for $30. And then coming up here we do have a lonely marble queen pothos, aka Epipremnum. Oh, sorry, this is a neon queen. I've never seen a neon queen before in person in a store. I knew they were coming out with them, but honestly, it just looks like a marble queen to me, you guys. Right? Totally just looks like a marble queen to me. It's $10. And then over here we do actually have... Oh, now that's even more interesting. Okay. This is labeled a snow queen for $20. All right, I know people are going to argue with me on this one. I was always told that marble queens are called snow queens in other countries, but they're called marble queens here, I think. Pretty sure. Somebody from Australia told me that, I believe. Or maybe it's that the pearls and jade are called snow queen in Australia. Something like that. So this also just looks like a marble queen. So I'm going to call it a marble queen. But once again, $20, beautiful plant. And then we do have a little pinstripe calathea here. Just a reminder, calathea technically have been reclassified as Gulpersia, but as you can see, nobody calls them that. The tag even still says calathea. This is $25 for a little 6-inch plant. I honestly feel like that is... I would expect that to be more around the $20 mark, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. This is about how big mine was when I originally got it, and you guys have seen how big the leaves have gotten now. They're bigger than my hand, way bigger than my hand. So even if you get a little one like this, they will size up for you nicely. And then over here we do have some Monstera Thai constellations. This looks like this is $130 in like an 8-inch pot here, but not looking absolutely fabulous. We do have another alocasia here. Is this just a regal shield? Yes, a $20 alocasia regal shield, just a tiny little one. We've got some more Adansanii over here. We've got some white, are these white princesses? Yes, $20 little white princesses, which that is one of the most variegated ones I've ever seen here. They just tend not to carry super variegated ones. Here is a philodendron, forget what this is. One of the is this just fuzzy petiole? Let's see. No, philodendron squamiferum, I think, is what this is. Not looking its best, if I'm being honest. That is $50, not paying $50 for that. But I did notice this, and I have not seen these in stores here before. This is a philodendron Florida ghost, and these are only, these little 3-inch ones are $25. That's not bad. That has come down significantly in price. Let me see. So the 6-inch is $50, but some of these not looking their best, but some of them look pretty decent. Like, they're not that bad, but very excited and interested to be seeing that. And here I do see a little philodendron billetier for $30. We've got some aglonema, oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time today. Aglonema Siam Reds over here. These are $15. Looks like $50 for the bigger, looks like an 8-inch one back here, but it's got a lot of plants in there. A lot of plants in there. Oh. Look at that one. That one's got a ton of plants in there too. And then let's see, we've got philodendron Birkin, which I hardly ever see these anymore, considering how popular they were when they first came out. I feel like that popularity died real fast. This is $20 for a little 4-inch pot. And here's another thing I was not expecting to see. Are you guys seeing this right now? This is philodendron snowdrift. They have different sizes, but the little 3-inch ones here are $25. Absolutely gorgeous plant. This is a 6-inch. Fine. Oh. That was not good, you guys. That's the first time I've ever knocked a plant over trying to film a plant tour. It's okay. It's all right. The plant is fine. It's these upright philodendron just sprawl and make it hard to turn without knocking these over. It looks like that is $70. Not all looking their best, honestly, but I'm just shocked to see these in stores. Look at that alocasia. Okay, we're gonna take a closer look at that when we get around to that side. But we got some more Dieffenbachia over here, some more Aglaonema over here. These are $25. This is a Maria, which is what I have. I'm pretty sure I got my Maria. I think I got my Maria from Calloways. Pretty sure I did. But look at this. Did you ever think, if you live in my area anyway, did you ever think you would see this plant in a store? A Jose Bueno for $40. I am shocked. And I thought that price had come down a little bit more than that, but I'm still just shocked to be seeing a Jose Bueno in stores. And it's the only one I see right now. So I don't know if maybe, looking around, I don't know if maybe there's more somewhere else or if we are just sold out, which would not surprise me because people were probably shocked to see a Jose Bueno, in stores. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied today, you guys. Jeez. Here we have another type of Dieffenbachia. This is a Star Bright for $12.99. Look at that gorgeous leaf. Beautiful. We have some philodendron Prince of Orange for $10. That is super cheap. I do see we have some pink princesses over here, and they're the more marbled variety, which is my preference. Absolutely love that marbled look. I will not own one though because, I don't know, just not for me. These are only $25. That is good considering what these used to cost. I just can't handle the growth pattern on these. They're just difficult, honestly, in my experience. If you disagree, share your tips with everyone down below. We've got some more Calathea over here. Is this a Beauty Star, maybe? Let's see if it actually tells me or if it just says, nope, just says Calathea variety, of course. I think that's a Beauty, no, or maybe it's the one that starts with a V. I'll put it up on screen for you. Looking a little bit rough, but not uncommon for Calathea to look a little bit rough in stores. Here we have this is $15. This is technically not a Calathea, I don't think, you guys. This is technically classified as a Tenanthe. I'm almost 100% positive. I think it's a Tenanthe Gray Star. Yeah, it's not a Calathea. You can tell by the way the stems grow. You see how they're kind of coming out. I don't know how to explain this. I'm just telling you right now. These often get labeled as Calathea. I'm 99% positive they're actually classified as Tenanthe, but regardless, absolutely a stunning plant. As always, we love the colored backsides to the leaves here. I do see a Calathea Macoiana hiding out in here as well. This is $25, one of my all-time favorite Calatheas, just so gorgeous. We've got some frost peperomias over here. I think I got my frost peperomia originally from here. That is $25. Why are peperomias so expensive all of a sudden? That is definitely higher than what I expected that to be. We've got some beautiful Rex begonias going on over here. Absolutely love the look of some of these Rex begonias, but not for me. I'm not hopping on the begonia bandwagon as of yet. I do not see... Yeah, I don't see a price tag on that. So, can't tell you how much it is. Here is a type of Calathea rosa picta. Is this the dotty? No, I don't know, because they just keep labeling them all as just assorted Calathea. The 4-inch version of this is $15. This is $25. Got another variety back here, which you know is not going to be labeled. Man, some of these, like, they start to blend together in my mind. Also $15, the names. So I will put them up on screen where I can recall. God, it's like right on the tip of my tongue too, and I just can't think of it right now, but absolutely beautiful. We've got a beautiful hurricane variety of bird's nest fern here. So the hurricane ones are the ones that do the swirl pattern, which I think is more beautiful than the non-swirling ones personally. This is $25. This is a $15 anthurium of sorts. I think this might be a super bum. Maybe? It just says anthurium, but I'm pretty sure it's a super bum. No way, you guys. Look. Look at that. That is a variegated Alocasia Frydek in a regular garden center store. $50. That's higher than I've been seeing them in other places. For example, on Palm Street, you could get it for cheaper, but this is the first time I've seen one in a garden center store. Like, oh my goodness. I can't even believe it. And they look good. But do they have spider mites? Hold on. I don't even like want to touch it because I always just assume. To the naked eye, I don't see like webbing or anything. I'm not seeing massive signs of like spider mites, but I would just be hesitant. Like if I was going to buy one of these, which I'm kind of tempted. No, not at that price. I'm not tempted. But anyways, if I was going to buy one, I think I'd come back with a magnifying glass just to be on the safe side, but they're absolutely stunning. And then back here we have the very beautiful Alocasia amazonicas. These are they're in huge pots, first of all. It's like an 8-inch pot. It's only $35. Those look absolutely stunning. Once again, just be cautious about spider mites, you guys. This time last year when I was in garden centers looking at alocasias, almost every single one of them had spider mites. I'm not seeing outward signs right now, but just thoroughly inspect top and bottom of leaves if you're buying alocasia right now. And the same thing goes for any ivies that you buy. So we've got all these varieties of ivy here. Spider mites, absolutely love ivy. You guys know my rule. I don't buy anything that's on the same shelf as an ivy because I swear ivy always has spider mites. Look at the beautiful speckly variegation on this one though. Although this would make it even harder to know if you have spider mites because spider mite damage takes on kind of a speckled look. So good luck trying to figure out if your plant's just looking more speckled naturally or if it's because of pests on this plant. Most of these ivies are relatively cheap, you guys. They're in like the $10 to $20 range depending on the size of the pot. This one is absolutely beautiful. I love the contrast with the variegation on this one. But once again, not for me because of the pest magnet issue. And then over here we have a Philodendron Hope, which technically is a type of Thaumatophyllum. These are $20. These will get very large. They are a upright growth pattern. That's incorrect. Let me try this again. They're arborescent growth patterns, so they grow more in a tree-like fashion. So think like my Thaumatophyllum bipennitifidum that I have in my office, that kind of pattern. We have some more Dracaenas over here. These are the swirly ones, the tornado varieties. These are $20. Beautiful variegation on these. And of course we have our Aphelandra squarosas. These are usually pretty cheap. Yep, $7.99 for these. A lot of people treat these like annuals as well, but if you don't know, you guys, I got mine from Calloways, where we are right now, 3.5, almost 4 years ago now. And it's still alive and kicking, so it is possible to keep them alive. Just remember, these are technically trees. They are trees, you guys. You are going to have to prune them back at some point. Like I did earlier this year, I trimmed mine back to basically this size. You do that, they spout new branches back off, and they stay beautiful for a long, long time. We've got some more peace lilies over here. We got some beautiful lemon lime marantas going on down here in hanging baskets for $30. These look fabulous. Look at these gorgeous Dieffenbachia camouflage. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I do not own a Dieffenbachia. I never have. I don't know why, because I mean, that's beautiful. Not that I have a place to put one right now, and they do get rather large, you guys. These are $40. Another shocking find right here. This is an Aglaonema pictum. Pictum! I have never seen one of these in a Calloways before. This is $30 in a little 3-inch pot. It's the only one I see, so my guess is they went pretty quickly. Look at this Syngonium white butterfly, staked up Syngonium white butterfly. Looking almost not like a Christmas tree shape, like a conical shape. That is beautiful. And then over here we have some more snake plant varieties. These are the little 2-inch versions that they sell. These are usually relatively cheap. So yeah, $7 for these. All the different kinds. You got your plain green ones, the ones with the variegation on the margins of the leaves, the ones that have all of the kind of striping up and down. I will say, you guys, I know I did a video a while back about plants I will never own. I said I'm not like really into snake plants or the traditional, this style snake plants. I really like the cylindrical and like the starfish ones, but they're kind of starting to grow on me. I don't know if maybe it's because I did that rescue video at my friend's house with their snake plants. I have no idea. I'm changing my tune a little bit. I'm not going to be buying one anytime soon, but I'm not disliking them as much as I used to. Here is a very silver variety. So see, here's a fernwood snake plant. I like this one, the thinner leaves they're kind of like a little bit rounded. This is my kind of snake plant. This is $17. You guys, that is a massive staghorn fern. Look at the thing. Oh my goodness. Okay, of course the price tag is not turned where I can see it. There's another one on the other side of it. When I go around the other side, I will see if I can see a price tag on it, but that is a rather large. Ooh, you guys, this is 50% off, and I saw these last year, and I was so shocked to be seeing them. I think it was around this time last year. Maybe it was only 6 months ago. I don't know. But this is a variegated bird's nest fern, which I have never seen a variegated variety in store before, but how beautiful is that? With those thin, fine little stripes there. Obviously, they're not doing so hot. That's probably why they're 50% off, but considering the fact that they're $90, maybe better to have waited and bought a 50% off one, right? As long as you feel like you can have it recover okay. I would definitely be inspecting those roots to make sure it's not rotted, but that is a good deal if it's a salvageable rehab, and it's just a beautiful plant in terms of when it's looking good and healthy. Ooh, here is another fun variegated variety of fern. This is a golden zebra. Look at the beautiful pattern on that leaf. Oh my God, those leaves are so thin and so delicate. I don't even want to touch them, but look how gorgeous that is. These are $25. Here is a mixed variety of polka dot plant. Up here, we've got the white kind mixed in with the pink, looking very beautiful. Once again, the price tag is on the wrong side, but the little ones down here are $7.99 for these. I'm blanking on the scientific name for these. I will flash it up on screen for you. Oh, it's like right there on the tip of my tongue, but I can't come up with it right now. By the way, you guys, I looked for the giant fern on the other side, and I can't see a price tag either. So sorry, no clue, but I'm willing to bet it is pretty pricey. Here we have a Peperomia Greyhound. That's the first I've heard of this variety or seen one in stores. This is $17. Looks very similar to kind of a frost peperomia, but it's got a lot more texture to the leaves. You see that? Like, frost doesn't have, like, in between the long dark lines, frost is more smooth than this. This has a lot more ridging to it, but very pretty plant. I keep finding all these random one-offs. We are also by the fan, you guys, so sorry if it's a bit loud. But I just happened to glance down and see this Serapagio woodii, aka string of hearts or chain of hearts, $50. That is kind of pricey. It's not even trailing that much. Those didn't used to be that expensive. I am so baffled with some pricing today, you guys. There are things that I would have thought would have been more expensive that are cheaper, and things that I would have thought would have been cheaper that are more expensive. I'm gonna have to do some more pricing research and maybe do an updated what's going on with pricing video for you guys, because some of this is just very unexpected today. Here's another little one-off. So this is a Peperomia prostrata, aka string of turtles, called that because those little leaves look like little turtle shells. This is $30. Also, feel like that is priced higher than it should be. Just saying. Okay, so I was wondering if we were going to see these again this year. I saw these for the first time last year. This company is a new company I hadn't seen, but they had a lot of interesting plants. Here's an Anthurium vitelifolium, which I have never seen in a store before here. This is one of the very long, narrow varieties. They've got a stunning looking white princess back here, much better than the ones we saw earlier in terms of variegation. There's an Anthurium silver blush hiding out back in there. These are decently priced too. That's $12.99 for the white princess. This Anthurium was only $30. Let's see, the silver blush is $30. That's not too bad, you guys, considering how much those plants go for when they're bigger than that. But they just have lots of different little varieties here. I do see we've got a Tenanthe over here. I don't know, I'm kind of hesitant to buy a prayer plant family plant that is that small. I find they do better when they're young, but not too young. Like, the larger they are, the more difficult of a time I think they have acclimating to your house. But the smaller they are, I also feel like the more difficult time they have acclimating to your house. If you're going to get a Callithea, I would go in the 4-inch to 6-inch pot range. That, like a teenager plant, I find that those acclimate the best. And then over here we do have some Monstera dubia for $60. That is holding price. That is the price these have always been. Not changing. This is a shingling plant. I'm not a huge fan of shingling plants, but if you like the look of shingling plants, I hear that these are not too difficult to take care of. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just happened to notice they had some smaller Thai constellations up here, and then I saw this sign. Today only 50% off 4-inch Thai constellations, regularly $60, which means I could get a Thai constellation for $30. I unloaded my Thai constellation earlier last year. It just had never done great for me. It wasn't super variegated. Some of these look much more variegated. I'm like highly tempted. I mean, look at that leaf. But I don't know if I want to deal with the ongoing like root rot situation that tends to happen with these plants. I did have better luck when I moved mine into leca, but also, do I have a room for a Thai constellation? No, because I've got two albos that I don't really need two albos, but I like my two albos for different reasons, so I'm keeping both of them right now. But oh man, I'm so tempted, you guys. Trying to see, it looks like there's healthy roots starting to grow through the bottom of this pot, so we know it's not like rotted yet. Oh, that is really tempting, you guys, really tempting. Well, you guys, I was pleasantly surprised with some of the new plants that we saw today that I have not really seen in Calloways or in mini stores in general in this area. If this is kind of a sign of what we can expect this growing season, I'm pretty excited. And I will say, I didn't see a lot of proven winners Leaf Joy line in Calloways, which that has been a very quick evolving, exciting line of houseplants to be following. And so I'm thinking we're probably going to see even more exciting new offers coming specifically from that line over the course of the next few months. So I will be sure to keep you guys updated on that. But all in all, pretty exciting trip. I'd love to know what was your favorite plant that we saw today. Drop a comment down below and let me know. And if you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to click that like and or subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Aloha!